Welcome back. You're with me in the C Space Studio here at CES 2025. My name is James Kotecki, and Jed Dederick, Chief Revenue Officer at the Trade Desk, is joining us for this next conversation. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, James, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So the Trade Desk, can you just start by defining the brand, what you do, and what it means?
Yes, the Trade Desk is a champion and a gateway to the open premium internet. So we are a demand-side platform. We focus on representing buyers in the programmatic media landscape, focus on a more fair and transparent premium open internet, and this is an amazing place for us to come together with our partners, with our clients, and I feel like the premium open internet has never had more momentum.
Let's get into those terms, open and premium. And if you, it sounds like those are really important terms to you,
Yeah.
so I wonder if you can just go through them one by one and just explain a little bit more about what you mean by those terms.
Sure. Well, a lot of my philosophy and our philosophy is we invest in the places that we think represent the best of what humanity has to offer, and where people invest their time, not as much where people waste their time. So premium content, quality content, for a long time has been struggling to find its monetization model between subscriptions and ad funding and hybrid models. And the Trade Desk really focuses on building the ad-funded models behind premium content. And in order to do it, we believe in being open, fair, and transparent, because we want everybody to have the opportunity to build competitive ad products, to differentiate off of their engagement, off of their data, off of their ad inventory that they offer. So for me, yeah, those concepts of open and premium, they really come together. You can't really have one without the other, in my opinion.
Can you give us an example, or maybe some examples of the kinds of content that you're talking about here? Especially, I'm curious, content that may have previously struggled to find a monetization model, as you said, and now that you're helping to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I love that. That's a great question, and it's well timed with our announcement this CES, accessing live sports inventory programmatically with Disney. Live is having such an incredible moment as sort of you think about live television experiences transitioning from your traditional cable and linear over to the streaming platforms. And programmatic is right there, and the Trade Desk is leading at the forefront of buying live programmatically and streaming. So that's what our announcement with Disney is about today. We've been after it. We're representing the major leagues and having access to those games. I loved seeing what happened this past year with the Olympics, with the Trade Desk as a sort of exclusive programmatic partner, as the Peacock app carried the Olympics and did an incredible job. So those are places where 2 years ago, the ability to buy live sports programmatically alongside your digital audio, your digital out of home, your broader connected television buys, it wasn't as possible. And I think this CES marks a lot of progress.
Is the live streaming technology itself the bigger challenge at this point in some cases, or is the ad tech? Is it the ad tech? Is it the streaming tech itself? Where does the challenge lie now for the next step?
I think it depends who you ask. I think now I might get into the weeds and start being like a programmatic geek.
Please
so
do.
feel free to pull me back.
If there's any place you can do that, I think
is that
this
true?
Is a safe
Okay.
space for that, yes.
Okay. You might be sorry you said that. But
I'll play you back out if we get to.
no. I mean, if you go to the streaming platforms and you look at them, they're all having a different experience introducing live. So we don't, the direct consumer part is really their business. So I'm sure that they would have one answer to your question. In terms of advertising, when you think about running on live sports, it's a very dynamic ecosystem where things like forecasting are challenging, things like pacing are challenging. So what we've done
In other words, when are they going to take a timeout?
When are they going to take a timeout?
Will they go into overtime?
Maybe there will be a really exciting moment where you get major tune-in, where you get millions of new people, or maybe Taylor Swift shows up to the NFL game, and suddenly you have so many valuable impressions you didn't know you were going to have a moment ago. So what we've done is build a lot of the back-end infrastructure to do live, we think best in class, and now seeing the biggest in the world and the biggest events in the world, like the Olympics, coming on board, it's exciting to see.
And is live really where it's at for you as far as the focus of the future?
No, well, yes, but that's
yes,
one
and.
of, yes,
yeah.
and. I like it. Improv background?
Yeah, exactly.
Very nice, me too. That is one part, but Trade Desk has always believed that in the future there aren't point solutions and point platforms. There's really one overall marketing spine behind the omni-channel open internet buying. So, I mean, honestly, I'm as excited as I am about live as what's happening in digital audio. And we're also, we're on stage this week with Spotify. We've had some incredible progress in our partnership with Spotify over the past 2 years. So I think the other place that, I'm excited about all of it, but the other place that the premium open internet, I think, stands to really blow up is in digital audio. I think that ecosystem is really ripe for a lot more ad share. Yeah. A lot of it's been locked in siloed kinds of buying, but similar to the dynamics within live television, putting programmatic advertising on digital audio, on podcasts or on streamed music, it has its own nuance, and that back-end work has been done. Yeah. And so when you see Spotify announcing their integrations with the Trade Desk on UID2, on OpenPath, that's the infrastructure that allows us to put the most effective digital audio advertising, I think, ever, with partners like Spotify in 25.
It's an interesting difference with digital audio in terms of the nuances of it feeling like a more intimate thing, and the idea of audio maybe not going as viral. If Taylor Swift shows up at the Super Bowl, you better believe that on X and on all social platforms, people are going to be taking pictures of that or video clips of that. Yeah. If somebody says something really fascinating on a podcast, maybe I would text it to a few friends, but it doesn't seem like it has the virality, but it does have that level of intimacy. So how do you think about these two things?
Well, it also has scale. Mm-hmm. I think, to me, the biggest dichotomy is how much global ad share is going to streamed audio versus how much consumer time it gets. People spend on average 2 hours a day in digital audio in the United States, but you look at media plans and you wouldn't know it. It really is not representative of the split with video. So for me, it has consistency, it has staying power. It's a lot like the way people have consistently thought about television, less live. And people more and more, myself included, start our mornings with podcasts, end our day listening to music on the way home. And the other thing that for me is really exciting, I think Spotify's done an incredible job building a subscription and hybrid business. Yeah. As they really lean into more ad funding. I think the ability to access Spotify all over the world for every person just gets more and more, which huge music nerd here. So that's super exciting to me, and I feel like we're supporting it.
And what's the interface? What's the cutting edge of the interface, or the experience, I should say, for the ad buyers, for folks who want to actually reach these audiences? How much is your technology and your goal to kind of make that easier and less complicated?
Yeah. So much of the goal. I mean, we exist in a world of massive fragmentation. We say fragmentation is our friend. We bring it together and make it easier and try to create better ad product, more liquidity in the premium open internet. And so I think that's a huge part of it, making it simpler. We want our partners to be able to come in with whatever creative assets they have, but also be able to iterate within platform. We're doing major investments in platform creative in 25, and reach their audiences wherever they are. I mean, it's really too bad right now that so much of the opportunity to reach your audiences across the Trade Desk is limited by whatever creative asset you have. Mm-hmm. And so we want more and more to think from a lens of audiences. I mean, we've been very clear for years that we believe in the long-term viability of one-to-one addressability, and our investments have set us ahead there. So I think that all of that together means, let's think about finding the right people, and we're going to create this very, very rich ecosystem of premium content where you may find them. Let's be ready for wherever they're going to be.
And will generative AI help to solve or mitigate some of those creative challenges?
Absolutely, yes. And I think if you listen to podcasts, you really have seen generative AI and automated creative generation in streamed audio take off. I mean, it's extremely common for me to be listening to a podcast ad and just not know whether or not this is a human or who's reading the ads. And but yeah, I think it in many ways, because it's just isolated to audio, the professional application of generative AI has happened faster.
Are we getting into host reads and things like that too, or maybe a segment of the podcast
Yes.
hosted but could also be personalized through generative AI?
Yes, I mean, host reads are already a part of what's available programmatically in our partnership with Spotify. So yeah, so much of that is that weedsy back-end infrastructure that I worry about. I'm gonna worry about that so that our partners don't have to think about it, that it's there, it's available, and we have a win-win of creating great advertising and funding the best content in the world.
Well, thanks for finding the fun with us today, Jed Dederick.
Absolutely.
The Trade Desk, we really appreciate it.
It's so nice to meet you. Thank you.
And thank you so much for joining us. This is the C Space Studio here at CES 2025. I'm James Kotecki. Stay with us because more great conversations are just ahead.